Hi, and welcome to another episode of the CIRS Group podcast. I'm Jacie.
And I'm Barbara.
Today we are talking to the amazing Olivia Farabaugh. She is a dog mom, tiny house dweller, Nashville-based singer-songwriter, fellow CIRSster, and founder of the CIRS Support Fund. Today we are discussing CIRS Fest. It's an annual gathering in support of the charitable works done by the CIRS Support Fund. And if you want to learn more about Olivia's health journey and experience with CIRS, definitely check out her podcast with Nutrition with Judy. So without further ado, let's jump right into the podcast.
Welcome, Olivia. Thank you so much for being on the CIRS Group podcast. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to spend this time with you guys.
Yeah, we're excited. We're very excited. The thing that's coming up very soon is CIRS Fest.
Woohoo!
There is a fest for CIRS, everybody, if you don't already know.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And to give people context for CIRS Fest, we would love to hear a little bit about what your connection is to the CIRS community and why you have a heart for helping people who do have CIRS.
Yes, so I myself am a CIRS warrior, whatever we want to call ourselves out there. But yes, so I was diagnosed in November of 2020 after, years of searching to find answers. And for me, it only took, I say only because some people search for like 10 decades, and so it was 4 years for me. And when I was first in treatment, I realized a lot of this is not covered under most insurance policies, and this is tough. And my husband and I were really in a position that we were so, so blessed because we had just decided to move in with my parents to save up for a move here to Nashville and then for him to be in school. So we were already in this position that just really worked well that we were really grateful for. But I started putting my story out there and I realized a lot of people aren't able to get the help that they need. And the one night I was talking to a woman and she was having a lot of cognitive hardships, and she told me that she was really ready to be with the Lord. And I felt really hopeless that night because I had nowhere. I wanted to just be like, here, go to this place and they can help you. But there wasn't anything out there at that point. So that's when it kind of shifted. And I'm like, there's got to be something. We got to start something then if there's not anything. And that's when Malachi's message came along. And I was going to go on their podcast and just talk about my CIRS story. And I started talking to Elizabeth, the executive director. And I was like, hey, I have this idea. Like, it just kind of came up in conversation. And we spent 2 hours talking that night. And like both of our visions matched. And we're like, we just got to do this together. Like, we got to join forces. Because I'm like, I have no idea anything about like nonprofits. I know nothing. And so I'm like, but I got the drive and I got that's what I want to do. And so she's amazing. All the people at Malachi's message basically took the CIRS Support Fund under kind of the umbrella of Malachi's message. And so one of the branches is the CIRS Support Fund.
That's amazing. And so CIRS Fest is being held in support of the CIRS Support Fund specifically, right?
Yes. So everything from that day, all the profits and proceeds from that day are going to go towards all the people on the wait list that we cannot wait to help. So yes, if anyone is available, come out. It's October 29th. It's in Dallastown, Pennsylvania at Windridge Farms. And we're going to have a whole lineup of just incredible local acts there. A lot of my friends I love so much. And it's going to start, doors open at 12:30 and it's going to go till 6 o'clock. And I'll be playing the last slot from 5 to 6. So if anyone's available, I'd love to meet you there. But it's going to be great. We're going to have it's for all families. So like every age is welcome. It's at a winery. So Windridge Farms a winery. So it's good for adults if you want, but we're also going to have like a kids corner, face painting. We'll have a silent auction, a 50-50 raffle. So it's going to be just a really beautiful day. People sharing their stories of CIRS and just kind of being able to rally together to build up this community that I feel so often doesn't get credit for their hardships even, let alone help for them. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
And this is the second annual one, right?
Yes, yeah. So last year was the first one. I figured I should rep my shirt.
Perfect.
I love it.
But so the theme this year is actually it's Hope Lives Here, from a story that we actually shared on another podcast, well, on Malachi's Message podcast. So I'll make sure that I give you guys the link to that too. But it's Hope Lives Here. And I feel like that is kind of a mantra that we all need to keep in this world of CIRS. Like, hope lives in this house, no matter what environment you're in. If it's safe or not safe, hope is still living there because it's living in you. And I think that's so hard to remember as we're in these bodies that don't really feel like there's a lot going on that's working for us, but just recognizing like our bodies are trying so hard for us. They're actually trying too hard for us in some regards. And so recognizing that hope can still live in this body that might not feel like it's working well for you, but they can coexist. And I think that's just important to remember, as we go through these health trials.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful message. And it's definitely something I know I relate to as a CIRS patient, is that CIRS treatment has been the hope for healing I never thought I could have. And our bodies truly want to heal. And sometimes it's just a matter of giving them the support they need and then getting out of our own way in some ways.
Yeah, that's perfectly said. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, I sometimes describe when you find out that you have CIRS, like, oh, it's like the excitement of finding out, even though it's not like, oh, yay, I have a chronic illness, but it's it's the piece of knowing, okay, here's the answer. Here's the path forward. It gives you a direction to go, even though it is overwhelming. It doesn't say, doesn't take away from the fact that it's a lot to deal with, but at least it's a path forward. So yeah, I really love that.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like it was such a mixed emotion, like bag, as I know you both know, like whenever reading through like the biotoxin pathway, and it's like, that's why that happened. That's why this, like all the things you went to 12 different doctors for, all like condensed just on this, like spelled out, this is what's happening. And of course, everyone's body does different things with all the different ways it can affect. But I remember reading through that and I was like, just mind blown, just like a little epiphany after a little epiphany. And I felt really validated. But you're right, it doesn't take away from the fact it's like, okay, now we know knowledge is power. We have this knowledge. The path forward is still hard,
Yeah.
but then there's a path. You're not just venturing through the woods. At least there's a path that you can see, that you can take.
Yeah.
So speaking of that path, can you share some examples of the work that the CIRS Support Fund has accomplished?
Yeah, so we're really excited. We're still new, so we have a lot of people on our wait list that we're really working hard to help. And that is why CIRS Fest is so, so important, just to get the word out. But basically, we're helping people get their diagnosis, so the testing and treatment that they need, with a CIRS doctor who knows CIRS. And that's, I think, the hardest part too, is being able to find that support group of doctors and people who really understand. And then we also are helping people get their house tested. And so that, is obviously the biggest and sometimes the hardest step of the CIRS protocol, is recognizing what's going on in your environment and being able to get out of it. And so we want to continue to grow as we go, because we have just so many visions for all the ways that CIRS patients need help. And so right now there's all the dreams that we have, but that's where we're at this point in our ability to help. And so as we get the word out, just keep spreading the word,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about how people, whoever's watching this right now, if you are blessed to be able to give, how are people best able to support the CIRS Support Fund and Malachi's message, or any of that part?
Yeah. So they can go to our website. You can do a one-time donation, or you can do, one if you want it reoccurring, if that works better for you. Literally whatever you can give helps so, so much. And the people also, some people on our wait list decided to do a personal campaign. So we allowed that option as well. So if you, instead of giving a certain amount into the whole, like whoever's next on the wait list, if you feel more connected with reading a story and helping that specific person with what they need, there's also that way to give too, if you want more of that personal connection. But everybody needs help, but sometimes people enjoy kind of having that relationship with
That's
the
great.
person.
That's great that you provide both of those ways. That's awesome. And we'll, of course, have all the links down below in the show notes for sure.
And if
Awesome.
someone can't go to CIRS Fest but wants to support CIRS Fest, how could they do that?
Yes, so that is my goal. I want to figure out how we can get a streaming link. So it may be on Facebook Live, but I'm still working on that currently. But if you keep up with Malachi's message and the CIRS Support Fund, all the information is going to be on there on socials. Malachi's message is just, they're incredible. Like the amount of work that they felt, they've taken on so much with this, and their hearts are just so good. So I just want to give them a shout out again, because like they are just amazing. Like on Facebook, they're so active and stuff. So make sure you follow them. But we're thinking that it may end up being Facebook Live, but I'm going to try to keep working, because I want everyone, and especially with CIRS, I know traveling isn't always, depending on what part of treatment that you're in, the most convenient thing that we can do. So I really want to make sure we can have as many people attend either in person or virtually as possible.
That's awesome. Yeah, please. I'll follow all the things myself, but I would definitely love to live stream in, since I can't actually go there. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's like I am so determined to make sure that happens, because there's too many people. There's too much of the CIRS community all spread out. We got
Yeah,
still band together online if we can.
for sure. Yeah, that's exciting.
So is there anything else you want to share with us today about Malachi's message or the CIRS Support Fund or CIRS Fest?
Or yourself.
Oh, or myself.
Your music as well.
Yeah, so a percentage of my album sales go toward the CIRS Support Fund too. So I really love trying to use anything that we can. I feel like God's given us all these talents, and also CIRS, or a relationship to someone who has, like, and I really don't think it's all an accident. Like at first I thought, whenever I got diagnosed with CIRS, I was like, am I being pushed out to do music? Like I really was unsure, but I just had in my deep gut that like they both coexist, like for a reason. And so I want to encourage anybody out there who does have CIRS, or if you're a family member or a friend who has someone that has CIRS, just know that all of this is for some weird reason that we may never ever know, but your story is going to help somebody else who's going through it. And there was somebody that told, I say this, somebody told me, but it was an Instagram ad. It was like, I don't know this person. Someone told me, Instagram algorithm told me, but it was an ad that came up, and she said, someone right now needs to hear your story in real time. And it's wild, because the season of life that I was in at that point, as I was literally waiting in like the waiting room to get my disc for this like MRI that I had just done. I didn't know really what was going on yet. I didn't have answers. And I felt like I was hiding this piece of me that was going on for years and years and years. And I'm like I'm an honest person. And it felt like this weird, like I'm holding this back, but I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, so she just said that, and it just hit me. I'm like, man, she's right. like, even though it's been 4 years of me not knowing, there's somebody else out there. So that's when I really started sharing online my story. I'm like, I don't really know yet, but this might be what's going on. And all of a sudden, everything then has progressed, and being able to meet Malachi's message. And I mean, it's just beautiful how whenever we surrender to this path that's been given to us for who the heck knows why, but when we surrender to it and figure out how we can really encourage each other, that's, I think, when just like the beauty happens. Because this stinks. CIRS stinks. Like, let's just be honest. Like, it totally does. But I feel like there's so much beauty and growth that we can all experience through it. And I feel like I just want to encourage anyone out there, share your story, use your gifts in every way you can, just to bring like beauty out of this, because there is beauty in it, even if it's buried under like a lot of ashes. It's there. There's some like the rose, you know.
Yeah. And I know I shared this with you in person when we met at CIRS X, but I'll say it publicly as well. When Jacie and I were diagnosed, and we were looking online for what the heck is this, and, you know, any kind of tidbits of hope or what the heck. And there's some, you know, good resources, of course, for practitioners, but I think you were like the only one that had anything online that shared anything about from the patient's perspective. And that absolutely inspired Jacie and I to share our story and to start the CIRS group, and to, you know, and, you know, whatever we can do to support, because you're absolutely right. The more people that share the story and talk about it, then they find out about it, and now they have a path to healing. So thank you for reiterating that, because I totally agree.
Thank you so much. Thank you for saying that again. I know it gets me every time, because all of a sudden it's like there's a purpose.
Yeah.
I really truly appreciate that. And I wanted to say to you both, like, thank you for what you're doing, because truly you're making such a difference, even in the online community. Like, you guys are really making a difference, and you're putting a positive spin on everything. You're coming at it with just such, like, with data, but then you're also just coming with such a light. Like, you just carry this light with you, and this and light of hope, like you said. So I want to thank you guys, because you're doing such a good job with all, like, I love following you, and just seeing you guys pop up. Like, you're doing amazing things in this community. So thank you.
Thank you. Likewise. Very happy to have this love fest right now with all of us. Yay, CIRS. We love CIRS now. No, I'm just kidding.
Honestly, it's one of those things I look back at and I'm like, I wished away, and I still am like, cool, that'd be awesome if that didn't happen. But then I look and I'm like, wait a minute, if that didn't happen, then A, B, C, D down to Z would have never happened. And so it's like, as much as I resented this, I mean, this has built my faith in a way I've never experienced Jesus. Like, I always knew he was there. I always kind of had this little bit of relationship with him, but I mean, he stripped me down till I all I could go to was him. And then I realized what he really could provide. I mean, I had a lot of anxiety around all of this, like, and I just feel a peace now, which I never thought was possible. And so I'm just seeing all these blossoms, like I was saying, like, and so I just want to encourage anyone in the beginning or even middle of their journey, there will be like the moment that you look back and realize, like, I wouldn't have ever met you ladies. I wouldn't have been at CIRS X. And like, it's like, there's so many beautiful people in this community too. So yeah, anyway, another ramble about how much I love you guys, and heartfelt, overly emotional ramble for you all.
No, thank you so much.
It's entirely reciprocated. And if our viewers want to join in on the Love Fest, where can they find you?
Yeah, oh, I love that. Join in on this Love Fest at oliviafarabaugh.com, or on Instagram, it's Olivia Farabaugh Official. And I'm also on like TikTok, I'm basically everywhere, like Threads and X, not Twitter, X. now that
Yes.
so I'm kind of just all over socials, as in YouTube as well. We live in a tiny house, so if you want to come on a little tiny house tour, come join me on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, your YouTube videos are awesome. Tiny home is so
Thank you.
cute. Yeah, definitely check that out, guys, for sure. We'll have all the links down below.
There's a cute dog. They're like, what don't you have? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like anything you could want. Your viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
Your viewing pleasure. Except a cat. I'm sorry. I have nothing against cats, but I don't have a cat. So.
Yeah, none of us have cats. It's okay.
That's an interesting. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Olivia. We're so excited for you. We're so excited for the Support Fund and for CIRS Fest, and really just encouraging our viewers to take a look at those links down in the show notes if you're looking for a way to help support the CIRS community. I know that some of our viewers are family members of people who have CIRS, and if you're looking for a way to show your support to CIRS in general or the CIRS community or your CIRS loved ones, this might be a really cool gesture, and we will look out for that link so we can join in virtually.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me and spreading the word about everything. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
So that was amazing. Thank you again to Olivia for being on the podcast and telling us about CIRS Fest and doing all of the hard work behind putting on that festival. We'll have links to everything in the show notes below, including a link to her health story with Judy. So if you're looking for more resources and support in your own CIRS journey or the CIRS journey of a loved one, please check us out at thecirsgroup.com. We have a great support community over there. And of course, we'll be back next week with another podcast for you. See you then.
See you then.